Okay, so we are going to do a couple of different circuits this week that are all having to do, well, there's two having to do with factoring, and one that is a review of polynomials, putting them together, and we'll do that on Thursday. So I wanted to just get you started on this one. This is more factoring by grouping, very basic, okay? So for number one, we're going to put two terms together. If you have to, continue to break them down. What do 6ax and 10x have in common? 6 is 2 times 3 and an a and an x. 10 is 2 times 5 and an x. So what's in common here? We've got an x, we've got a 2, and that's it. So this first one becomes 2x times, and then you look in your terms, what's left? 3a plus a 5. Okay, and I always take, if there's, oh, sorry, I didn't realize we're still focusing here. If there are any negatives, I always, hello, focus. Let's see. Oh, man. Alright, hang on. Focus. Okay, hopefully that stays like that. I always try and take any negatives in with my terms so that I think about them when I'm finding common factors. But there's none in this problem. So we're going to have a plus. And then we will look at 9a and 15. 9 is 3 times 3, and it has an a. 15 is 3 times 5. So there's only a 3 in common here, so that's what goes out front. And again, what's left? 9a had 3a, and 15 had 5. Okay, so we're starting the process by pulling out a GCF between the first two terms and the last two terms. What is outside becomes your first binomial, and as long as they match, you have to make sure they match before we write these binomials. That is your answer. So we have to look through all of these answers and find either 2x plus 3 or 3a plus 5. Okay, and I actually see it down here, 2x plus 3, so this will be number 2, and you'll start again. Okay, find your pairs, write down your common factors so you can break them out, and write down your binomial. I want to see your binomials squared, and then remember to write your numbers here. And at the end, you should end up with one where the answer is 2a minus 3x. I feel like there was one with subtraction. Yeah, I don't know what number this is right now. However, I think this one might give you cause for struggle. So on the back, I don't know which number it's going to be, but let's go ahead and solve this one. I suspect this might be that final one that leads, this may be 16. But let's look at this. So 3ax cubed, 3ax cubed, and 9a cubed x, 9a cubed x. What do these have in common? So we have a 3a, 1, 2, 3 x's. And then we have a 3 and a 3, 3 a's and an x. So in common, there's an x, there's an a, and there's a 3. So we're going to start with 3ax, and we're going to write what this has left. 1, 2 x's. So x squared. What does the next term have left? A 3 and 2 a's. 3a squared. Okay? Then over here, these are both negative. So I want to take negative 2x squared and negative 6a squared and find out what they have in common. They have a negative 1. This is negative 1 times 2, x and x. This is negative 2 times 3 and 2 a's, a and a. So what's in common here? Whoops, I should have said negative 1 times 2 here. Negative 1 times 2. So what's in common? A negative 1, a 2, and everything else is different. So what is the common factor? is negative 2. Okay, so take that negative in your common factor, and then we'll write what's left. The first term had 2 x's left, so that's x squared. I already used my negative here in my greatest common factor, so this is now plus 3a squared. These two match, and that was my goal. So my final form here will be 3ax minus 2 and x squared plus 3a squared. Okay, that one I think is the most tricky with signs. And was that 16? It was not. So whatever your answers end up being, let's make sure this exists somewhere. 3ax minus 2 or x squared plus 3a squared. 3ax minus 2. Yeah, so it's going to come down here to this one once we figure out what number all of these are. I didn't tell you what number it was. I just wanted to help you solve that one. All right, so you should be able to get started. I did the one that I thought was the hardest. Email me if you have questions, and this will be, you should be able to do this in one day. Okay, good luck.